I'm your story pal. Yes, your story pal. Let's read an adventure or a fairy tale. We'll rocket to the moon or around the world. We'll sail, you and me. I'm Bun Bun, your story pal. Hi there. What should we listen to first? The boy who Goldilocks. The Little Red Riding Hood.
Little Red Riding Hood. There was once a sweet little girl who lived with her father and mother in a pretty cottage at the edge of the village. At the other end of the wood was another pretty cottage where her grandmother lived. Everybody loved this little girl, especially grandmother, who gave her lots of nice things. Once grandmother gave her a red cloak with a hood that she always wore, so people called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said, "Put on your red cloak and go see your grandmother. She has been ill. Take along this basket for her. In the basket were eggs, butter, and cake. And don't wander off the path." It was a bright and sunny morning. Red Riding Hood was in such high spirits she wanted to dance through the wood. All around her grew lovely wild flowers. Little Red Riding Hood could not resist leaving the path to pick a bunch for her grandmother. Little Red Riding Hood had wandered a good distance from the path and was stooping to pick a flower when behind her a gruff voice said,
"Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood."
Little Red Riding Hood turned around and saw a great big wolf, but she did not know what a wicked beast the wolf was, so she was not afraid.
"What do you have in the basket, Little Red Riding Hood?"
Eggs and butter and cake, Mr. Wolf.
"Where are you going with them, Little Red Riding Hood?"
I'm going to see my grandmother, who is ill, Mr. Wolf.
"Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Riding Hood?"
asked the sly wolf.
Along that path, past the wild rose bushes, then through the gate at the end of the wood, Mr. Wolf.
"Is that so? Well, that sounds like a lovely part of the forest. I hope you enjoy your visit."
The Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, there was a woodcutter who lived with his nephew Hansel, his niece Gretel, and his awful wife.
Hey, where are our parents?
Who knows? Anything can happen in a fairy tale. Maybe they went on vacation. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll meet up with them at the end of the story. Hansel was an easygoing lad and found this to be a perfectly acceptable answer. They all lived in a tiny cottage near the woods. They had barely any money, and the woodcutter's wife always complained that the cupboards were empty. One day, she hatched a plan.
"Hansel and Gretel, those two brats, they're going to eat all the food. We have to do something. Let's take them to the forest for a picnic. We'll give them some bread and leave them there."
"Leave them there? No way. And who only serves bread at a picnic?"
"Quiet, you twit. You'll follow my plan or I'll kick you right out of this fairy tale."
See? I told you she was awful. Luckily, Hansel and Gretel overheard them. What are we going to do?
Shh, quiet. Follow me.
Hansel crept outside and Gretel followed. He picked up white pebbles that gleamed in the moonlight. Great! We're going to be abandoned in the woods and you're picking up pebbles?
You'll see.
The next morning, the woodcutter's wife woke the kids very early.
"Get dressed. We're going for a picnic."
A picnic? With what? We barely have any food.
Hansel looked at his mean aunt suspiciously.
"Well, we have bread and we have, well, you like bread, don't you?"
A bread picnic? The woodcutter's wife stamped her foot.
"Quit complaining and get your shoes on. We're going to the deepest, darkest part of the woods, and you're both going to like it."
The horrible
Robin Hood, the Rumpelstiltskin, the legend, Briar Rose.
Briar Rose.
Long ago, there lived a king and queen who often said to each other,
If only we had a child.
but they never did. After years of pining, the once cheerful queen would sometimes go to the pond to bathe alone and cry. On one of these days, to the queen's surprise, a frog hopped out of the water and said,
Do not cry, my queen. Your wish shall be fulfilled. Before a year has gone by, you will have a daughter.
The queen hardly dared to hope, but soon the frog's words came true, and the queen had a little girl.
We shall have a great feast to celebrate,
The king declared. He invited his family and friends, and also the wise women of the kingdom so they could meet his child.
but there are 13 wise women, and we only have 12 golden plates.
Said the cook. The king waved a hand and said,
Then tell one of the wise women she'll have to stay home.
he did not consider, until it was much too late, how this would make the uninvited person feel. The feast was splendid, and when it came to an end, the wise women leaned over the cradle one at a time to bestow their magic gifts upon the baby. One gave virtue, another beauty, a third riches, and so on. Everything in the world a person could desire. 11 of the wise women had made their promises when suddenly the 13th wise woman appeared. She was terribly angry that she had been left out of the celebration, and to punish the king for his insult, she cried out,
When the king's daughter turns 15 years old, she will prick her finger on a sewing needle and will fall into a deep sleep forever.
Her curse delivered, the scorned wise woman swept out of the room. Everyone was shocked, but the 12th wise woman, who had not yet bestowed her good wish, came forward.
I cannot completely undo such a powerful spell.